Oh wow, welcome back guys to another video. So we'll be going over the market, specifically SPY or QQQ, and we'll be talking about the price action. All right, so we're pretty much hitting historic price level in the market, and we need to actually go over it and have a game plan on the different target and key level that we need to watch for next week. Before actually going into that, let's actually go over the weekly calendar and see what kind of price action we'll be having for next week. All right. So let's actually do that. I mean, different event on the calendar. All right. So if we look at the calendar right here, so we have Monday to be actually clear. So we have nothing scheduled on Monday. All right. So we can actually have a easy Monday, even though we're going to have a lot of war news that will be coming out from Sunday night to Monday. Right. However, on Tuesday, we then definitely gonna actually have some data regarding retail. So stock like Walmart, Target can actually have a good volatility on those days. Or on Tuesday, before market open, those stocks can actually have good move. So if you wanna watch for a day trade, you can definitely watch those stocks like Walmart, Target, Costco. Um, yeah. And on Wednesday, yeah, again, nothing scheduled. That's really interesting. So we have 2 days that we have nothing scheduled. So for the most part, the week will be kind of quiet. But again, because of the war news, we don't really have a quiet market lately. And on Thursday we have PMI. We also have again initial jobless claims that actually come almost every Thursday. That's a weekly data itself. And on Friday, so this data wire the consumer sentiment going to be a data to actually watch on Friday for sure, because every time we have that data at that time, we have either a huge spike or a huge big move to the downside. All right, and if we look at it, it seems that the customer sentiment is set to be higher compared to the previous three. The previous three we have 47.6, and the forecast is about 49. Right, so I think the customer sentiment is about over 100. That's the max data that it can reach. So far it's still below 50, which is not really good. But at least we have a small jump from the previous read on that data. Right. And another thing we also want to talk about is also going over uh the earning calendar as well. So quickly actually use this. All right. So what we have on the earnings calendar, so we have a couple of big companies that be releasing earnings, so such as Tesla. So we have Tesla right here, after hour on Wednesday. Make sure to actually know that. So let's actually go over the key names that I'll definitely be watching. So United Airline, United Healthcare as well. Again, Tesla, let me see, Boeing. So not really, but I'll be watching to see how they actually perform. Southwest, and we also have Intel on Thursday after hour, and then that's it on my side that I'll probably be watching. I don't really trade American Express. I don't really trade bank like that, so I won't be watching it. So mainly United, Tesla, with a Tesla Instrument, Southwest, and Intel for sure. That's pretty much what I'll be watching. Nothing crazy, but you can let me know in the comment what you'll be watching on your side. Let's actually go over the price action and actually go over the key target. We're gonna actually have a whole analysis on the market itself and actually talk about what I'm definitely watching, right? So if you look at the market, we pretty much actually hit a major key level. So we can actually have the 700 key level on SPY. That's a pretty much a historical level, that the cycle level that the market wanted to go so bad to actually hit that level. We haven't not only hit that level, we also clear that level as well, right, before the weekly candle close, before the end of the week, right? So if you look at the price action right here, we can see that we have a strong push from the low to the high right here. So we have a low point right here, and a strong push right away from all-time high after making that low right here, which was pretty much beautiful. Right, definitely actually have a strong price action that we pretty much saw it. No really no pullback. Right, every sellers from the low right here has been destroyed. Right, everybody trying to actually short it. If they didn't actually show the right name, then they pretty much got destroyed. Especially after that gap right here, we actually set. So this right here, that setup, we have a gap right here. That's what we call a gap and go, right? Setup. So we gap and we pretty much go. We never actually go back to right here. So are we gonna ever come back and refill that gap? We don't know, right? So that's like that was a big move that actually happened. And if you want to look at the exact data from the low right here to here, the market actually moved about 13%. All right, 13% from the end of March to mid April. All right, but to the first 2 weeks of April was really bullish. All right, so it's like, okay, where do we go from here? All right, if you guys been following my analysis, we know for sure after that move right here, since we've been here around this level right here, and I'm basically not looking to actually buy, right? So I either trying to short the market or just take cash, because again, if even though I'm not looking to buy, I don't really want to go against the market because that momentum is strong. So I'm still looking for some weaknesses. However, when we actually cleared the 700, I still didn't really like trying to actually short it. But on Friday before the close, after we actually again gap up again, all right. For me, all right, after I know for sure we're gonna have a weekend and we can always have like one news all together. And also after that big move, I think there's gonna be a big the market participant will be looking for more reason to actually sell than to continue to buy. Right? Because this right here, that's a strong push. All right. This is a strong push and it's getting a bit extended. And again, it's not only a strong push out of nowhere, because it's not gonna be different if it's a strong push, right? And we actually, let's say we from here, we actually push from here, we still have home target go here on time high. But at this level, this is new territory. We never had been under level before. So there's no I would say like a existing key level. There's no prior history or past action to actually refer to see how we can actually react. So when we actually had that, it's easier to actually pull back compared to actually continue to push, right? So we can actually have, again, we pretty much, if you look at the market itself, we are in the bullish price action. That's the beauty of it, right? So we're in the bullish price action, so we can continue to push back. I mean, and push to the upside, right? We actually had that breakout on a higher time frame, so we can actually push and continue to go, for higher level. However, in the short term, we can easily pull back first before going higher, and that's something want to catch. And that's why on Friday, I actually entered what I call a kamikaze uh entry, because I'm going against the direction of the market, but I'm not just going randomly. I'm going at the top of it and trying to actually catch the head of it. That's why I actually told my team, hey, I'm taking a shot on. I didn't took SPY. I didn't take SPY directly. I took KKQ. It pretty much the same setup. And I said, you know what, I'm going to show the head of the market, and that's why I actually have it. And again, you might think there's some market manipulation, because every week, every weekend, it's like clockwork about the Iran war. It's always something, right? And now that the markets are all time high right here, guess what? The news it's gonna actually negative. All right, so everybody trying to actually buy the continuation might get their head chopped off. We'll see, because the buyers have been really strong. It's not only about news itself, right? But the bar itself have been really strong. How do I know that? I know the bar is strong when we actually get to that level right here, and we stay there for a long time. Right? We know we're supposed to pull back, but the way the bars have actually held that zone for a long time show that the bars have been strong for a long time. All right, so that's why after we actually have that pullback, that actually took like months to actually happen. I mean, this right here took only 2 weeks to actually recover for what took months to actually happen, and actually just like recover and go higher. So this whole trading scenario right here took months to actually happen, just for a couple, about like 10 days to 12 days of price action to actually recover and even have a higher move. That show how strong the barrels are, and to be careful when you short, right? So when I'm shorting, I want the risk reward to make sense. And for me, this right here, the risk reward makes sense. That's why I'm entering, and I'm gonna see tomorrow if I'm getting paid or not. Right? Again, if you look at uh we look at future one now, we pretty much no, we pretty much read, but it seems like we still, it's getting bought, or the deal is getting bought as well, right? So we actually gap down. All right, so if you look at the 5 minute, we have a gap right here to the downside regarding that bad news. But it seems like, if they want to actually buy the dip, but we'll see where we are in pre-market. But if this right here get rejected, if you cannot actually reclaim I would say the two, this right here, 0.7, that's gonna be that level on future. That would be this right here, that level right here. If we stay below that level right here, if we're not getting clear, the most likely we can actually go lower right here, actually reject. We'll see what we're in pre-market, but that's something I'm definitely watching. I'll go back to SPY, what level I'm watching. Let's go to the daily time frame again. right here. So we have the 700. I think we can actually come back to, retest the 700. So I'm definitely watching for the 700 retest and see. All right. So if you can come for a 700 retest and actually bounce, I'm gonna be looking to actually play the continuation. If you lose the 700, then I want to actually focus to the downside because we can go all the way down to the 690 to the 680. If the 680 gonna be a bigger move right here, right here. That's gonna be a bigger move right here. I'll probably look at the 690 instead. That's gonna be more realistic target if we lose the 700 right here. If we lose the 700, I'm gonna look at the 690 to see how the price action react at that level right here. All right, the 690. All right. But again, I'm definitely watching the 700, and before that, why we have to actually come and trying to actually fill that gap. What there's a gap fill that we to fill at the height of that candle. I fill that gap. So we'll see in about an hour about where we open. So I'm making that video before the market opens. So I should have wait to actually see where we open so I can actually have a better updated level. But so far, I'm looking for possible retest of 700. And before that, we can actually come up with this, fill the gap at the 703 level first, and even test the 700. If you lose the 700, look at the 690. All right, so those two levels are pretty much bounce levels. So we can easily bounce at 700 or 690. So definitely something I'm watching. So I'm really open to actually, if I'm shorting, all right, that's the risky part. So I have to be actually risk control, small amount of capital being involved, and actually short term. And if I want to catch the bounce, I can actually go a bit heavier because I'm trading with the trend and I'm trading with the direction of the market, and the buy that has been strong so far. And I'm be comfortable to actually enter with more capital with trading a bounce level, right? And that's I can either trade the market directly or look from key individual name that would make sense for me to actually take to the upside. So I don't want to make that video too long, so I'm gonna stop here. Very quickly, that's pretty much on the quick view I have on SPY specifically. Thanks for watching, and let me know in the comment what's your top watch for tomorrow, if either on the earning calendar or just whatever you're watching in general.